Okay, now just look. Why is she doing this? You see, the seal doesn't like it. Nobody likes it. Let's go. On the South Georgia island, during the filming of a documentary, elephant seals crushed one of the tents of the film crew.
Looks like I'm a homeless person now.
Well, anything can happen in the wild. Definitely wasn't their purpose. Right, but then I saw the video where the other seals crushed cars. What have people ever done to them? Is it really this? Yes, I agree. First, it's painful. Second, nobody likes it when they poke you with a stick from behind. Okay, actually, it isn't just a stick in this way. People vaccinate seals and it's vital. But how can we explain it all to the seals? They just don't like the process. However, without this vaccine, animals can really die. Morbillivirus is a group of viruses that includes, for example, measles virus. You've probably heard about the disease that's caused by this virus. It's incredibly contagious and dangerous, especially for children. Measles affects about 20 million people a year, and in 1980, 2.6 million people died because of it. Vaccination has reduced the number of deaths to tens of thousands, but measles is still dangerous. But what do seals have to do with all this? We know that animals can't get measles, but it doesn't mean that they're completely protected from any other morbillivirus forms. In the video, a monk seal is being vaccinated. These animals are endangered also because of an outbreak of the virus. They infect each other too fast. They can get the infection from dogs on the shore, and they die out rapidly. In the spring of 1988, a similar virus outbreak killed more than 17,000 animals. 17,000. From time to time, this virus is found in different parts of our planet, and it's always deadly dangerous. There's a chance to survive the vaccination of the animals, but they don't understand it. So the only possible option is to poke them with a stick and run away as fast as possible. I'm serious. Seals may seem cute and heavy, but they are ferocious predators that are capable of attacking people. Sometimes seals do it on the shore, and then people have a chance to escape, but sometimes they attack in the water, and you get it. Even more than 100 years ago, during an expedition to Antarctica, Thomas Ord Lee almost got caught by a seal. The animal pursued him on the ice and was unwilling to stop, and it's unlikely that Thomas did something that had made the seal angry. And you can't explain to them that the vaccination is a good thing, the cars are useful, and that people feel uncomfortable without their tents. Yeah, animals can be very smart, but there are some things beyond their understanding, and that's why those things annoy them a lot. There is a simple example. People use hidden cameras to study polar bears. In this way, scientists may stay at a safe distance. But what do bears do? They break cameras. Maybe it's just their playfulness and curiosity. But no, they know exactly what they want. And if breaking expensive equipment is on their wish list, who's going to argue? Actually, the trap cameras are out of order too often because the animals are simply tired of being constantly filmed. Imagine that you have cameras at your place that are poorly hidden. There's a cameraman who's running after you in the streets and hiding in the bushes. Of course, it's all fun in the beginning, but a lot of animals always live like this. It's not a surprise they start hating people because of such attention and doing anything to avoid it, even if they need to take out a memory card. But the only instruments they have are their teeth and paws. I don't care. Gosh, it will be confiscated. So, if you always wanted to watch paranormal activity, but from the wild point of view, it's something like this, but horror films work only on people. Cougars will remain indifferent, even to the creepiest film. The real horror for them is a human voice.
This is not good for the country, what's happening here.
If we turn on a recording with sounds of any animal, a frog for example, nothing happens, but once a cougar hears a man, look, you see, it even hasn't finished the meal. According to the experiment results, the sounds of the human voice at the time cougars spend eating. It means they remain hungry and have to hunt again. This leads to an increase in prey kills of about 36%. So, in this way, the chances of meeting people are increasing. It just goes round and round. Even the animals which once got caught by man and now have a special tracking device don't want to contact people again. And honestly, I can understand them. Imagine that you have to wear something like an electronic house arrest bracelet without committing any crime. It's unpleasant, but you still have an opportunity for revenge. The Siberian ornithologist to track the migration of steppe eagle by using a GPS device faced an unexpected problem. One of the birds just flew away to Iran, and because of roaming charges, this eagle quickly spent nearly laughing hard at the same time. But if we can attribute the behavior of this bird to coincidence and a sense of adventure, then with primates, everything's very clear. When primates are furious about something, they start throwing stones, and you may guess who becomes their goal. Yes, you're right.
It goes!
Because people annoy chimpanzees, and it doesn't matter what they are doing. By the way, when there are no stones, they use improvised things. It's good if it's just grass, but some monkeys can produce projectiles on their own. Well, you know, I was happy that the elephants don't do this, or their projectiles would be much bigger. But let's change the subject. The kangaroos, the first time these animals were described by people was in April of 1770. Since then, they haven't been thrilled with people, and they aren't shy about expressing their attitude. But why can you hate someone just like that without any reason? Since the middle of the 19th century, the kangaroos have been used in circus performances as bosker animals. Well, there was not much entertainment then, but you could take any in the face from a kangaroo. I don't want to say that these animals are very peaceful, but I don't think that they were delight in people didn't stop there. First, they thought kangaroos to fight them, and then began to hand-feed their offspring. What might have been an apology for mistreating their ancestors became the perfect excuse to attack, even without any apparent reason, just because of their desire to get into a fight. But there's one more thing according to scientists. Humans and kangaroos are genetic relatives. Our last common ancestor lived about 150 million years ago. You see, that explains a lot. Well, you know, it's impossible to get along with all your relatives. However, if we think about it, we are all relatives one way or another. That's why some animals behave like humans. In 2020, the mountain goats, taking advantage of the pandemic, decided to take over the town of Let Us Know in Wales. And when a town has a little more than 20,000 people, it is very difficult to do this. This town surrendered without a fight, we might say, but not every animal is ready to wait for general self-isolation to come to power.
Shoot!
Wild turkeys have been a very big problem for people of Boston in the suburbs for several years in 1800. Their population was in danger, but now it looks like these birds decided to take revenge. They don't like to live in the forest anymore. They prefer the city as terrorizing people in one Boston neighborhood. It's much more comfortable there, and people are just rivaling, and birds need to reclaim their territory. If you've ever met a domestic turkey, you know it's not the friendliest creature in the world. Multiply its characteristics by 3, wild turkeys are much stronger, faster, and more aggressive, especially when we speak about males during the breeding season. Nobody wants to meet them during the territorial conflict. And by the way, in 2019, wild turkeys also appeared in Toms River, New Jersey. It's starting to look like a turkey apocalypse, don't you think? Probably turkeys are just invading one city after another. According to scientists, these birds don't see the difference between people or other turkeys. So that's why they're so cruel in their fights for the territory. Well, I don't know. There's at least one city in the world that is completely overrun by eagles. And it's not like they confuse humans with their own kind.
What are you guys doing over here? Huh?
Onalaska is a town in the state of Alaska with just over 4,000 people, and there are bald eagles instead of pigeons. There are more than 600 birds in just a few square miles, and they're very unpleasant neighbors. The eagles constantly attack Onalaska residents, for example. They do it to steal food directly from their hands. They also try to find some food in trash and steal fish from the ships. Seagulls also do this sometimes. But you know what? Seagulls don't have such beaks and huge claws, and it's hard to imagine that people would install special signs to avoid new victims, although there are a lot of signs in the world that are just weird. Come on, what can happen if you feed this parrot? You definitely don't want to face the consequences. New Zealand can only hunt sheep to survive. They're also very curious also. They're good with logic, and if you just give a cat food once, it quickly concludes human means food. Fortunately, not in the same way that sheep means food, but in search of food. These birds are ready to attack cars.
No. Hey. No.
And they can cause serious damage. Also, can may be interested in the contents of the tourist backpacks when they're traveling in the habitats of these birds.
Oh my God, it's really bad.
But it's still better than if they were interested by the tourists themselves. See you later.